What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, and today we're back answering more questions with this guy right here,
Gersh1,
in our For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. That is what
the Fool 06 has done. His question is, what would happen if all the Primarchs weren't kidnapped by Chaos and instead had grown up naturally in Holy Terra under the guidance of the Emperor? That's like the best case scenario.
I still believe that there would be a heresy, some type of civil war, but I do not believe that it would be as big as what it was. The reason that the Horus Heresy happened and the reason Chaos was able to infiltrate most of the Primarchs, was because of the Lorgar getting tricked as a baby to follow Chaos, and he kind of was like the puppet master behind the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, Corphaeron and all those guys.
But when you actually look at the reality, or when you actually look at Horus's betrayal, it's because of that sword and getting wounded by that sword.
The anathema.
So, it's inevitable, but I don't think that a lot of the Primarchs, especially Corvus Corax, Conrad Kurz, is it Conrad? I could mix those guys up. What would the Night Lord one? He wouldn't have been bad. Perturabo would probably not be bad, and what I think we would see is most of the Primarchs. Oh, Angron too, because he wouldn't have the Butchers and Nails. Most of the Primarchs would really lean heavily on their specific warfare tactics. So instead of having you would have, how the Loyalists are very specific to a certain tactic? That's what you would have with the Traitors. Yeah. What do you think?
Definitely the Imperium would be in better shape than it is now. I don't think... I 100% agree that still the Primarchs would fall to Chaos, but not as heavily as they did. Maybe you'll have Angron, Lorgar, fall to Chaos, but for the most part I think the majority would stay true to the Emperor, and overall the Imperium would be not declining in a way as of kind of what you see now, and their golden era would just be so much longer, to the point where I don't think the Emperor would have to be interred in the Golden Throne.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely betrayal and civil war would happen, but just not to the extent of the Horus Heresy.
Yeah. Next question comes from Starlight Eater. Ain't that the same shirt as yesterday?
It is.
Yep.
Because it's the same day.
We shoot all the Greater Wall episodes on the same day, usually on the weekend. Yeah, next question.
This one's by Arthur Biddle. Are there any intelligent orcs? Could there be an orc smart enough to read and write a book?
The smartest orc is Orcomedes, and he's so smart he created teleporting machines. So, yes, orcs are very smart.
But would they use that to actually write a book? I can't see that happening.
No, they don't bother. Gretchen usually writes stuff down. Sometimes. Next question comes from Timothy Armstrong. Which Tau caste is responsible for building their cities? I know the Fire caste is the warriors, the Earth caste are the mechanics, and the Air caste are the pilots, and the Water caste are diplomats.
It'd probably be a combination of the Fire caste and the Earth caste, because the Earth caste, they're builders. Yeah, they build they're mechanics in the sense that they build robots and stuff, but architecture, all that stuff, and the Fire Warriors, they're an army in times of need. Say their army, or say their lands got ravaged and all their buildings are destroyed. They're gonna send the army in there to kind of help rebuild, keep things in order, that kind of stuff.
Yep. Next one.
Firefly Gaming. Do you think that GW will ever bring back Sanguinius? And if so, how and what can he do?
I think they're pointing towards that, yes. I think they're trying to feel out the fan base to see how angry we would get if Sanguinius came back.
Because they already kind of hinted that he's not dead, he's just in stasis.
Yeah, which is something different than what was in the Codex.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty much dead. So
we'll see.
Next question comes from Squiggly Lines. Do Space Marine apothecaries know about normal human anatomy? Yeah. Because apothecaries still like interact with neophytes and acolytes, and most of them don't have the all the gene seeds yet. Well, at some point you can't have any of the gene seeds. So yeah, they know about like lungs and stuff.
Lungs and stuff.
Next question.
This one is by... again, can't pronounce your name, man. It's like in a different language. Do Space Marine apothecaries know about normal human anatomy? I think it would depend. Like, if you're a fleet-based chapter, not really.
Yeah.
But if you're the salamanders, yeah, because, like, humans and salamanders are like bros.
Before hoes.
And after. And during.
Yes. Exactly. Next question comes from Stufer2002. What are digital weapons? That's supposed to be my robot voice. You asked me to read it in a robot voice. I have a horrible robot voice. Is it advanced trolling, or is it like your 2K electronic warfare weapon like EMPs? So digital weapons...
They're ring weapons. Kind of like a Carroll Weaponsmith.
Yeah, think of it like...
the Green Lantern ring.
Yep. So like it's a hologram that solidifies itself.
Kind of like you right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know in past editions, digital weapons gave you like an extra attack or something like that. So it's like you punch somebody and then you like zap them in the face.
Yeah. I don't know what they do now. I have a Carroll Weaponsmith that I've never used.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yes.
Next to the toothpaste.
Where is it? I had toothpaste. Where is it? Anyways, next question comes from TSL Frontman. What would happen if a blank used the Lair Blade or another demonic possessed weapon? Would they be immune? Would it just not work for them? It depends on what the demonic weapon does. If the demonic weapon is kind of like... Wait, what's the Lair weapon? Is that what...
That's the blade of Fulgrim, the demon.
Okay.
Demon blade.
I think it would just weaken the blade, so it would just be a normal blade. But if you look at somebody like Farsight, who has that blade that steals people's lives, those lives would never go into the blank. So it depends on the weapon.
Yeah.
And that's all speculation.
They don't go into detail like that. Just how, like, when Vulcan dies, like, what resurrects him? How does he resurrect? Does his body fade away and a new one appear? Like, what goes on there?
Especially because he got burnt.
He got decapitated. So would a head regrow and a body grow on that one?
Yeah.
Travis Becker. Since Gilliman instructed Belisarius Call to utilize only Loyalist Primarch gene seed for the Ultima founding, does this mean that the Blood Ravens will not receive Primaris Marines?
No, I think Belisarius Call ignored that.
Yeah, Call is one of those dudes where it's like, for science, I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And he's saying, or may Call have secretly known of the Blood Ravens and possibly others, and made Traitor Legion Primaris as well.
Yep.
Yeah. It don't matter.
It's not necessarily that he knew that the Blood Ravens existed, or that certain successor chapters were going to be from Traitor Marines. He's, like you said, he's a man of science.
Yeah. Just like you're not supposed to use, like, Xeno weaponry, but just don't call it Xeno weaponry and use it.
Yep.
That's what they do with the phase blades, whatever they're called. They're basically Necron swords that can phase through atoms.
Yep. Next question comes from Trays, or Quatrays. What would happen if the Orcs invaded during the fall of Cadia?
Whew. Cadia would be gone, and it would just be like a black hole of orcs. Like, the battles would just go bigger and more orcs would just come. It would become like a little mini Octavius sector.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what caused Abaddon to ram the planet with his ship. And it was because the pylons were getting... He wanted to destroy the pylons. And I wonder if the orcs would have stopped him. No.
I don't think they could have. They're orcs. And he had a Blackstone Fortress, like.
Yeah.
All Might. What are your thoughts on Primaris replacing the old Marines? Good, bad, and why?
Primaris Marines look amazing. It sucks that you have to buy all new models, especially because some models you kind of form a bond with. I know that, like, for my Space Marines, the very first Space Marines we ever bought, which were some Space Wolves, I still like to play them whenever I do play Space Marines because they're like, have that bond with them. And then with Primaris Marines, if I do play them, they're going to look dumb. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's good because you get brand spanking new Marines. They're true to scale. They look awesome. But right now, it's not the time to completely phase everything out. Because like we were talking about earlier, or it might have been in a different video, they don't have everything that the regular Marines do. Like, they don't have Land Raiders that they can go in. They just got one transport that they can finally use. So, they shouldn't replace them, but it kind of should in a way.
What's interesting and what I haven't really took the time to talk to older players who have a Space Marine and have a Space Marine army and have always played Space Marine, and now you have this new wave of people like our friend who plays the Raven Guard, who he's gonna have all new Primaris Marines.
Right.
So there must be some type of something or another when you have new guys with all new armies. They look really nice, and then you have just regular Space Marines, and they look kind of weird.
Yeah, not to say they look bad, because I mean, if you got them pro painted and sculpted and everything looking good, then yeah. But again, if you compare the old school Marine to the Primaris Marine, you could see that the dimensions are off, the torso's too small on one or whatever.
Yeah.
But it'd be pretty awesome to see all Primaris army against a no Primaris army and kind of see which one's better on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Obviously, tactics and dice rolls are going to play into it, but nonetheless, just thinking about that kind of theme, that kind of battle playing out would be pretty cool.
Next question comes from Gabon Cowboy. How many Space Marines can fit in a Glorion battleship, a Primarchs flagship?
Oof, a lot.
A lot, yeah, like that song.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
A lot. Last question. Do you have one?
Private Slacker. If the future is grim and dark, is there anything in the lore that was so grim and dark that you found it too silly and unimmersive? What's so dark and grim in the 40K universe that it doesn't belong in the 40K universe?
Nothing. Nothing grimdark. I think there's things that are a little goofy that don't belong in the 40K universe.
I feel like anything that's in Warhammer right now can make sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's okay, this for sure can't happen.
GW has done a really good job of being very...
They've cemented the groundwork for their lore really well.
To the point where you could throw anything and you'd be like, yeah, that could happen. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing that wouldn't be okay are
female Space Marines.
No, because even female Space Marines, I think that they can do female Space Marines.
Gene does not bond to their genetic makeup.
I know, but there's lost Primarchs.
True, maybe. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and
that's a topic for a different time.
Well, no, we can talk about it because it's mostly people who get butthurt about their old lore, but it's kind of the same thing as Primaris. You probably got butthurt about the Primaris, but we're past that, and look at us now. We're good. The thing that doesn't fit in the lore, or that makes me angry about the lore, is people like Kaldor Drago. Whenever you have one character that's OP to the point where
Primarchs don't even do what he can do.
Yeah, that really killed it. So Matt Ward really killed that whole chapter of the Grey Knights, and then he kind of pulled back, and now the Grey Knights aren't playable because they're elite. But
it's all about quantity over quality right now.
You're right. Yep.
If you play a whole bunch of Orcs, you're gonna take down Grey Knights just with the dice rolls alone.
Yep, like that. But again, I kind of like that because 40K is supposed to be a large scale tabletop game.
Right.
If I want to play small,
kill team.
Yeah. So when you have Khaldor Drago, who's supposed to be like this badass guy.
And he dies in a mob of like nurglings.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Thank our patrons on Patreon for allowing us to continue to make these videos. YouTube has been getting a little crazy this year.
Oh, yeah.
So it's because of our patrons that we can make these videos.
Yes. Thank you guys. Keep on supporting. Your $1 a month goes a long way. And if you've never thought about it, now might be the time.
Link in the description.
Yeah. As always, I'm the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
And we are out.